on the officiating. Do you think it's as bad as it ever right now, Chris Long?
I don't know.
That's the general sense of it right now, that this is as bad as it's been. There were a couple of calls that went against Indianapolis in the end zone that allowed Cleveland the opportunity to pop it in on the 1 yard line and win that game at the very end. We saw the spotting of the football on a fourth down in Los Angeles that was way off. And clearly, had there been a timeout in McVay's pocket, they would have been able to review it. I mean, those are just a couple, and it just seems to be a nonstop flurry. The one that happened at the end of the Bills and Giants, there just seems to be a nonstop flurry of these types of plays that one would think Sky Judge would be able to fix if there was the ability to just review everything or review things of this nature. Chris,
I gotta be honest, Rich. When I played, I thought the officiating was tough. Now, I also like Jeff Fisher, a good buddy of mine, my old ball coach. He was on competition committee, and one thing he always talks about is how much credit we need to give the officials for making tough calls. And I think they make tough calls all Sunday, every Sunday, and most times they don't get praised. They only get, it's like an offensive lineman's job.
Yep.
You don't talk about Lane Johnson until he gets beat for a sack, which, by the way, I think the guard was supposed to slide out. So just
good one.
Anybody that thinks he got beat finally for a sack, just take that into account. But I think the officiating is always going to be inconsistent. It's a really tough job. You have to overcome some bad calls. You have mechanisms in your back pocket. If you're Sean McVay, I understand you're taking timeouts to get it together on a third down that they actually convert. Earlier in the half, I know that they're taking timeouts in that situation because the Steelers are in 4-minute mode. But more than anything, there's always like a chance that the team that got burnt by a penalty can help themselves, right? Or there's always like hey, you can look back at Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson damn near blew the game for the Steelers, if I have that right in my head.
Yeah, he
had a conversion, and then he comes over and he's doing this and he's taunting the guy, and then they got to go back again to Allen Robinson. They got to replay the down, right?
Yep.
So like the chips fell the wrong way for the Rams. I think they got hosed there, but there's no guarantee that they even win that game. I think the Steelers had played, they were playing tough defense at the time, and TJ had a big play to start the second half. That was huge.
It was.
And the calls for Miami, like, listen, if the Eagles 10 calls went against them, no calls against the Dolphins, I would note it. But that's not why you lost the game. Let's be real. You lost the game because the Eagles were more physical and they had the better game plan and they controlled the game from the outset. You don't want to be in a situation like that. Start faster. 5 of those penalties are pre-snap. Control what you can control. That was the big thing that they always told us in NFL locker rooms: control what you can control, and don't put yourself in positions where one bad call burns you. So I am sympathetic to a lot of those calls. I think the NFL needs to clean it up. But as we go on the fly here through the NFL season, there's going to be teams every week that get burnt by these calls.
Chris Long,
it's just the reality.
Chris
it's
Long.
just the reality.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.